Hey, Geoff Mosher here with your Inside the Birds Minute. All right, so Brandon Brooks, the Pro Bowl right guard for the Eagles, signed a contract extension on Monday that'll take him up to 2024. The details and terms contract are not yet out. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it will pay Brandon Brooks, the Eagles will pay Brooks commensurate with what a two-time Pro Bowl right guard, about to be three-time Pro Bowl right guard, should be paid. And that'll make him one of the highest paid right guards in the league, if not the highest paid right guard in the league. And you talk about Brandon Brooks, and he's right up there with anybody, Marshall Yanda. Trying to think of some of the other great right guards in the league. Give me a few minutes and I'll think about them. Certainly Yanda from the Ravens is really good. Oh, David DeCastro from the Steelers, another one. But Brandon Brooks has an argument for being right up there with the top right guards in football. So a lot of the people understand the contract and why you would give him more money, but when they read that he was signed through 2024, knowing that he'd be 35 years old at 2024, I've already gotten a lot of feedback from fans who are questioning whether this is another example of Howie Roseman kind of rewarding a guy well into his twilight years, and whether that contract's going to look bad 2, 3, or 4 years from now. But I have to remind everybody, every contract in the NFL, whether it's a 4-year, 5-year, 6-year deal, it's only as good as the guaranteed money lasts. And usually the guaranteed money in any contract, especially one given by the Eagles, is usually up in the first 1, 2, maybe 3 years of the deal. If you remember, Brandon Brooks signed here in 2016. He signed a 4-year deal that would take him to 2020. I think 2 years ago, or maybe last offseason, they redid his contract a little bit because his cap number was going to balloon, and they added he basically got a restructure that carried him to 2022. So in 2018, they redid his deal to make it a 4-year deal that carried to 2022. But years 2021 and 2022, he has no base salary. That was just a way for the team to put guaranteed money and divide it over the 4 years of the contract. So he's got about $1.6 million in bonus money in 2021 and $1.6 million in bonus money in 2022. But because he has no base salary that year, the expectation could have been that if the Eagles cut him, they would only owe him the $1.6 million on the books for each of those 2 years, which $1.6 million in dead money isn't great, but it's really not something that's going to kill you in the long run. But now he signed through 2024, which means he's going to get paid in 2021 and 2022. I'm sure his new contract will give him a base salary those years, but he'll be 32 and 33 those years. And you want him on the team basically next year, the year after, and the year after. So 2020, 2021, 2022, these are years you're going to have Brandon Brooks now. And I'm going to assume, and I'm sure I'm right with this, that a lot of the guarantee money in his new deal are going to be in those next 2 or 3 years. So that's a way of me of saying by the time we get to 2022, 2023, his base salary is probably going to be a little bit lower, and the bonus money is going to be spread out so that if they do wind up cutting him in any of those years starting in 2022, it's not going to be very cost prohibitive. There won't be a lot of guaranteed money that they'll be working with, and so the cost of cutting him at that age or moving on from him in a trade is going to be very low. So that's a roundabout way of me saying, don't worry that you have to be paying Brandon Brooks top of the line right guard money when he's 34, 35, and 36 years old. The basis of this contract is to make sure that he's one of the highest paid right guards in football from now until about 2021, 2022. And to be honest, he's going to be on the team. He was always going to be on the team as long as he's playing even close to the level that he's playing at now. And by the way, some of those right guards that I mentioned, the Marshall Yandas, the David DeCastros, those guys will wind up signing new contracts in the next 2 or 3 years that reset the market to the point where Brandon Brooks' contract will wind up probably being a bargain value by this time in 2 years. So that's it. I wouldn't be too concerned about the whole lifespan of the contract and the fact that he'll be 35 and 36 and making X amount of dollars. That's not the way it works in the NFL, and I don't think it's an example of Howie just holding on too long to a player who's going to be old. We'll see where Brandon Brooks is 2 or 3 years from now and see what they do as far as his contract and his status with the team. But for now, you got a very good right guard under contract for at least the next 2 or 3 years. All right, that's Geoff Mosher. This has been an Inside the Birds Minute. Hope that clarified the situation for everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Make sure you catch the next Inside the Bird podcast. Adam and I are going to drop one on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for the next Inside the Birds podcast on all of the major podcast platforms. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Inside the Birds YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. Take care.